Hey guys, the Peekaboo here, bringing you a Pokemon Stadium battle against a computer that's a hard difficulty level computer, and yeah, I haven't played this game in a really long time, so yeah, I'm just gonna start out with a Persian lead because Persian has Slash, which is always a critical hit, or usually always a critical hit in Pokemon Stadium, and then I choose Slowbro because it's pretty bulky, and it has Dual Stab and Exeggutor because it's pretty bulky also. And I decided to use Starmie, but then I decided not because I had too many Water-type Pokemon. And I chose Gyarados over Starmie, and then I chose Jinx and Moltres. And my team has the Grass, Water, Fire synergy, which is really good in for a Pokemon team. And I'm just choosing Pokemon for my computer, and I choose Kadabra over Alakazam because Kadabra has better move pool with Psychic and Recover. And yeah, so we're gonna start the battle. And like I said, I'm just gonna start out with my Persian because Persian is probably one of the best leads in Pokemon Stadium. And he leads off with the Slowbro, and I just go for the Slash just to see how much damage it would do to this Slowbro, because it's always a critical hit in Pokemon Stadium. And I go for the Slash, I get a critical hit, and it doesn't do much. Maybe does around a third to this Slowbro, and I know I cannot take 2 Psychics after that special defense drop, so I have to switch out, and I decide to switch into my, I don't know what I switch into, either my Exeggutor or Jinx. I think I switch into Jinx, predicting the second Psychic, and I do predict right because he does go for the second Psychic, and that doesn't do much because I do resist it, and I am pretty bulky. Jinx has base 95 special, and right here I go for the Mega Punch because I misclicked. I was supposed to go for the Lovely Kiss, which makes your opponent fall asleep, and that's what I'm gonna do this turn. Hopefully it'll hit, and it does hit, which is really great. But the Slowbro does get the first turn wake, which is really annoying. And in first generation, if you wake up, you can't attack, so I can just put the Slowbro right back asleep. And yet again, this Slowbro gets the first turn wake, and yeah, this is really quite annoying how lucky this computer is getting. And I put it asleep the 3rd time, and finally it stays asleep. So right here, I switch into my Exeggutor because I do have the Stab Mega Drain, which is super effective against the Slowbro, and that will do quite a lot to the Slowbro, I believe. And that's exactly what I do. I go into my Exeggutor hoping he wouldn't wake up, and that he doesn't wake up, which is really great, so I can set up a Leech Seed on the Slowbro just to get some gradual recovery to chip away HP from the Slowbro. And in first generation, Leech Seed isn't actually that great compared to in 5th gen. It only like takes maybe like 5% of the Slowbro's health, which is kind of unfortunate. And now I go for the Stab Mega Drain, and that doesn't kill, as the Slowbro stays in for some stupid reason and goes for the Stab Psychic. Right here, I'm just gonna finish it off with a Mega Drain, but my opponent is predicting me, and he goes into an Arcanine, and yeah, the Arcanine resists the Mega Drain, so it won't take much damage from the Mega Drain. And I am forced to switch out because I'm afraid of the Fire-type move, so I think I go into my Gyarados, because Gyarados has good special and it resists Fire-type moves. And yeah, I switch out, and I go into my Slowbro actually, and he predicts my switch out, so he's predicting me and goes into a Gengar, and I totally forgot that Gengar has Thunderbolt, so I just went for the Stab Psychic, thinking that the Gengar doesn't really have much to hit me with, and it's super effective, and it does a lot of damage considering that my Slowbro is really bulky, and my Stab Psychic does even less than his unstabbed Thunderbolt, which kind of sucks. And now I have to switch out because I'm I don't want my Slowbro to die just yet. And I think I go to my Exeggutor just to take the Thunderbolt, because I do resist it since I am Grass type, and the Thunderbolt doesn't do any damage at all. And right here, I totally forgot that this Gengar does carry Nightshade, which will do 50 damage, which is quite a lot in it does quite a lot to this Exeggutor actually, and it looks like it's gonna be a 3-hit KO. And I set up the Leech Seed, which is actually good for me because now his Nightshade will only be a 3-hit KO, which is really great. And now I go for the Stun Spore because I want this Gengar paralyzed, since Gengar does have the massive 110 base speed. And he stays in, goes for the Nightshade, which allows me to go for the which enables me to go for the Stun Spore. And thank God it hits this Gengar. And after it's weakened and paralyzed and crippled, I can go into another Pokemon such as my Gyarados to take the Nightshade and then revenge kill it with a Surf or Fire Blast, because my Gengar does have my Gyarados does have a Fire Blast, which is kind of surprising, but it works out in first generation because Gyarados does have high special in this generation, unlike in the other generations where Gyarados has pitiful special attack. And in first generation there is no distinction between special attack and special defense, so that's why Pokemon such as Slowbro, Exeggutor, and Gyarados are pretty overpowered in first generation because they are very, very bulky in the special side. And I'm fearing the Thunder Punch, so I go into my Slowbro as death fodder because I really don't have a safe switch in to this Electabuzz, except for my Exeggutor. My Exeggutor is at low HP, and I don't think I can take 2 Thunder Punches from a Electabuzz. So I'm deciding what to go into, and I'm thinking to go into my Exeggutor, and I want to pull off a Stun Spore because Electabuzz has really high base speed, and I just want the Electabuzz paralyzed. But he switches out, unfortunately, and goes into an Arcanine, and that's actually even better for me because I do get the Arcanine paralyzed, and Arcanine does have high base speed. And I switch out, fearing the Fire Blast again, so I go into my Gyarados this time. And yeah, the Arcanine is a huge counter to my team because it basically counters my Exeggutor, and I need Exeggutor because it resists Fire type moves. It resists Electric type moves, I mean. And yeah, I do take the Fire Blast quite nicely despite the Arcanine getting a critical hit. And I go for the Stab Surf because it will do a good amount of damage to any Pokemon that switches in. And surprisingly, the Electabuzz takes that really well, and I do not want to get hit by a Electric type move, so I go into my Persian because I'm pretty sure I can live 1 Thunder Punch from a Electabuzz, and then KO the Electabuzz with a Slash because Electabuzz does have a frail defense stat. And he predicts this switch really nicely and goes for the Thunder Wave, which will cripple my Persian and make my Persian slower than the Electabuzz, which is quite unfortunate. And he will go for the Thunder Punch, and that will take my Persian down to red health. And thankfully for me, I do not get the Parahax here. And I go for this critical hit, Slash, and that will take down the Electabuzz, which is really great because now both of his Pokemon that know Electric are dead, and that means they cannot counter my Gyarados anymore. And he goes into his Kadabra, finishes me off with a Stab Psychic. And yeah, Kadabra is actually better in this game than Alakazam because the rental Pokemon for Kadabra does have the reliable recovery move, Recover, and it does have Psychic, which is much better than Alakazam, which has Psy Wave or Psy Beam. I don't remember which, but Psychic does more damage than those two anyways. And right here I go for the Lovely Kiss because I know Jinx does have a high base speed, if not speed ties with Kadabra. Jinx does have a 95 base speed stat, and I'm not sure what Kadabra has. He probably has the same. And anyways, he goes into his Nidoking as sleep fodder. That's really a bad play for my opponent because I do have the Ice Punch and the Psychic that is stab and super effective against this Nidoking. And the Nidoking will take a huge chunk to this Psychic and will die to the next Psychic. And yeah, I go for the Mega Punch in case he switches into a back into the Kadabra because Mega Punch is a physical move and that will do more damage than Psychic to Alakazam. Now he goes into his Arcanine and I'm hold on, there's a phone. Sorry about that. Someone just called me and yeah, back to the narration. I'm gonna switch back into my Gyarados because it is. Oh no, actually go into my Moltres because Moltres can take the Fire Blast quite nicely, and I haven't used Moltres in this battle yet. And right here, I'm predicting a switch, so I go for the Substitute because substitutes are great. And luckily for me, this Arcanine does get paralyzed. So now I have a free substitute, and I'm just gonna go for the Fly because it's stab. And yeah. And I fly up, and he goes for the Dragon Rage, I think. And it misses my substitute, and substitute's just levitating in thin air, which is kind of funny. And I go for the Fly, and that does a lot of damage. And I get he gets a Parahax. I'm not sure if that Fly was a critical hit. I didn't really pay attention. And right here I go for the Swift, and that doesn't quite kill the Arcanine. But yet again I get the Parahax, which is so amazing because this Arcanine won't do any damage to my substitute. And I will just take it down with another Swift, and I get a crit. So right here, I'm getting like Hax Frenzy and getting really lucky at this point of the battle. And now he goes into a Kadabra, and I know he's probably gonna go for the Stab Psychic to break my sub. So I go for the Fly right here because it's my only good physical move. And yeah, he does break my sub, and I go for the Fly. And I think he might switch out here because that would be a smart move. Actually, he stays in, goes for the Psychic, and it's an obvious miss because I'm flying. And I go for the Fly, and it hits the Kadabra, and it will do a good amount of damage, leaving the Kadabra down to 28 HP. So I don't want to get hit by a Psychic. Actually, I do get hit by the Psychic, and he does get a critical hit, which is quite annoying because that will take down my Moltres. And I know I could have killed the Kadabra with a Swift at that point, but I guess that makes up for all the hacks I got from the Arcanine. And right here I go into my Jinx, because I thought I outsped the last 2 times, so I was gonna go for the Ice Punches to finish off the Kadabra, but for some reason he actually outspeeds me this time, and that really sucked because I won't be able to take down this Kadabra. And yeah, he goes for the Psychic here. I really don't know why, and it doesn't do much to the Jinx. And he should have went for the Dig actually. The Rental Kadabra does learn Dig, and I go for the Lovely Kiss just to put the Kadabra to sleep. And he does get the first turn Wake, but it doesn't really matter because I will finish this Kadabra with a Mega Punch. And the Kadabra will faint because it is not defensive at all. And now my opponent is just going to go into a Slowbro, and that is his last Pokemon, I believe. And because it's only at 21 HP, I'm pretty sure I can finish it with a Stab Psychic. And that's exactly what I do. And the Slowbro will die to this Psychic. And that will be his last Pokemon. And I will win against this computer. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this Pokemon Stadium battle. It's different than the other battles I will have, and if you guys continue to like these battles, I'll definitely post some more. So yeah, definitely hit the like button if you like this mix of new battles. So yeah, peace out guys.